So we are very far away. This is where Malaysia is. And this is, I believe, this is where you guys are. And it's truly amazing that we are now connected, because previously, before the age of internet, this would not be possible. So what I'm trying to say here is that we are actually going to a very interesting era. Yeah, we are entering in. And it's very interesting for an entrepreneur, especially for startups, because I think this is something that I want to share with you all, which is my story. I have been an entrepreneur for 7 years, and this 7 years I've been journeying in my entrepreneurship as a solo entrepreneur. Yeah, so I think all of you are entrepreneurs, right? In this new startup, I believe, called SmartOpt Academy. Am I correct to say this?
Yes.
Yeah, if every one of you, so you point to yourself, I am an entrepreneur. Everybody just do that right now. Say, I am an entrepreneur.
Yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah, can all of you unmute yourself, right? And say, I am an entrepreneur.
I am an entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur. Okay.
Yeah,
so a little bit lively, I'm an entrepreneur.
and the thing is that we all as an entrepreneur, we are living in an exciting time, right? So let's tell our neighbor in next to our Zoom screen, we are living in an exciting time, right? So this is what I'm going to share with you, because I think the reality of today's market, it's really talking about, a long and slow, bumpy recovery. Yeah. So all of us hope for a V-shaped economic recovery, but in reality, it's going to be an L-shape. So recovery will take time until vaccine is found. And according to the pharmaceutical experts, they say normally vaccines are found within at least the fastest would be 5 years. 5 years the vaccine will be found, right? So I don't want to paint a picture of gloom and doom, but the point here is that I believe, according to quote unquote Albert Einstein, he says that in any crisis, there's always an opportunity. If you agree in the statement, can you put in the chat there and just put a reaction, right? And agree, right? Because in any crisis, there is an opportunity. And I would like to believe Albert Einstein, because he is a very smart man. Okay? So is everybody okay right now? Yeah? So the reality is that most experts agree that we are in the long, slow, bumpy recovery. So it will take between at least 5 years to find a vaccine. So until vaccine is found, we have to work together. We have to collaborate. Yeah, don't be like me. I'm a solo entrepreneur. So I only run my business by myself, but I collaborate with people. And today I'm very happy to be able to collaborate with all of you. Yeah. So what I'm going to share now is, this is the agenda in the next 45 minutes. Yeah, in the next 45 minutes until 1:30 your time, I'm going to share my journey, my 7 years journey as a solo entrepreneur. And I think all of us will want to know what are the rewards of being an entrepreneur. Do you want to know? If you want to know, then you just nod your head. Yeah. And obviously, I think it's important for us to know what are the rewards of being an entrepreneur, because an entrepreneur, it's a very difficult journey. It's not an easy journey, especially if you are doing it alone. But if you are doing with a team of your colleagues, that's going to help a lot. That was going to help a lot. And then thirdly, I'm going to touch about the current state of our economy right now globally, which is I call low touch economy. Yeah, and I will briefly introduce you the 3M framework, which is used to overcome, it's used for survival for this COVID-19. Yeah, it's a 3M framework. So, so without further ado, can I start? Are we okay with this 3 agenda? If you're okay, can you just give me a thumbs up? Yeah. So every part of it, I would do a 10 minutes talk sharing, and then after that I'll open up for Q&A. Yeah, yeah, so that you can ask me questions. All right. So my 7 years of online journey. Okay, this is so just a little bit background on myself. I started in the advertising and marketing industry at the age of 17 years old. So I was a college dropout, and I started work on Monday after my final paper on Friday. So I had the privilege to work in the advertising and marketing industry, and I rose from rank and file. So after, at the age of 37 years old, when I was 37 years old, which is 11 years ago, 9 years ago, when I was 37, one day my boss, she was a chairman of one of the largest advertising agency in the world called Dentsu, Aegis Media. And she called me in the room and says, "You have to do your master's." I said, "Why?" She says that if I'm no longer here, you will have to basically fend for yourself, and you got to tell all the regional bosses that you are smart. You are smart. So I need to do my MBA, a master degree program, right, with University of Liverpool. So at that time, I've left school for about nearly 20 years, and I find it very hard to juggle between my family. I have 3 boys. They are now all teenagers. And I was very active in church also, and I was actually a group CEO of a company at the time. So it was very hard to go back into studies to do my master's, but I had to do it. So I went to do it, and I did it 100% online distant learning. So it was with University of Liverpool, and this was the first foray for me to experience the digital education, because my professors was based in Liverpool, UK, and I was in Malaysia. And my classes starts at 10 p.m. at night, my time, Malaysian time, and finishes at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I did that every day. So every week I have to do 3 assignments, which accumulatively I have to write about close to 10,000 words. And it was really tough to juggle between studies, between my family, and also my work as a group CEO. So, but the experience that I gotten was very good, because I come to realize that when I have a purpose in life, which is basically number 1, to provide for my family, and secondly, to get a master degree program, a certificate, I was very focused. When I know that what I need to achieve, what my goals are, I'm very focused. And I realized that for the fact that when I start to do my online distant learning, I find that throughout the 24 hours, there was a lot of time to study, to play, to spend time with my family, to spend time with my friends. Because I find that before I study online, I like to waste my time in between. Yeah. So I found that having to know what are your goals in life really helps to put a focus for you not to only spend your time productively, especially when you are an entrepreneur. You got to come up with new ideas. You got to look at, you got to do research to find out what are the market needs right now. You will find that when you start to use your time properly, you can do a lot of things, a lot of things. So I took, after 2.5 years, after 2 years, I completed my master degree program. So I was actually given a time frame of 5 years, but because I was so focused and I really enjoyed learning through online, I finished it within 2 years. So in December 2013, I submitted my final paper to my final dissertation to my university. And then there was great relief. I was so happy. And I started to think, because at that time I was 41 years old, right? 41 years old, right? 41 years old, and which is 7 years ago. So I knelt down and prayed, because I prayed to my Creator God, and I asked Him. I said, "What do you want me to do, as in my prime of my life, which is 40?" And it's amazing when we believe in God, God speaks. So He asked me to basically set up my own company called Navigator, which is on the right hand side here, Navigator, And so I started off my journey as a solo entrepreneur in 2013, January 2013. So 7 years has passed, and it's an amazing journey. I went through ups and downs in this, but I just want to fast forward. As I started off my entrepreneurship, I think the first thing I wanted to do is to have a mission statement. So what was my mission statement? So I thought about this, and my mission statement as a business is to help, firstly, individuals and entity in navigating in the sea of change, which is what I call digital disruption. So I was very much involved in digital transformation. So I help clients to redo remodeling in terms of their business, even in the year of 2013. But it was a long and hard journey, because at that time, brick and mortar business was still doing very well. E-commerce just started to come in, and was slowly disrupting, the marketplace. So the digital transformation journey was actually very difficult at the beginning. But what I did was that I persevered on, And the thing is that coming fast forward to now this year, I see a rapid growth in digital transformation for obvious reason. Because of COVID-19, because of the lockdown, a lot of brick and mortar business have now what I call been disrupted. And so what I did was that in December itself, I saw this was coming. And because we had basically first-hand information that in China, Wuhan had a coronavirus outbreak. That was somewhere in December. And as an entrepreneur, we have to be very sensitive in terms of the market changes and the market trends. And this is where I start to digitalize all my training programs, because I run a digital academy. I train people, I coach people, I provide consultancy in the areas of digital marketing. So as I run a training academy, I need to basically remodel my business from a physical classroom to a virtual classroom like this. So as an entrepreneur, I think the journey is exciting, because as an entrepreneur, we have the opportunity and the privilege to basically create things, reinvent things, make things better for the society out there. So it's kind of like a social entrepreneurship, right? That we start off a business with a first aim to solve, I call it, country's problem. Just like, for example, Uber. You heard of Uber, right? The cab hailing. Then you talk about, all those startups, like, for example, Amazon. You talk about Grab. Grab is basically an equivalent to Uber. Then you have all the e-commerce startups, all the digital startups coming mushroom up, and you can see that their main purpose is to really help people, right? In times of COVID-19 and post COVID-19. So coming back to this here, I think the journey that I have been experiencing for the last 7 years has been very, very rewarding. And now I will go to the next section here right now, which is I'm going to cover what are the rewards of an entrepreneur. So before I share with you what are the rewards as an entrepreneur, I want each of us now to think in our mind, what do you think is the reward of an entrepreneur? So can you just put it into your chat? Can you just write down on the chat? What do you think are the rewards of an entrepreneur? Can you put it on the chat? Freedom, yeah, that's nice. I got the same answer as you, Sana. Yeah, making your dreams reality. That's nice. Yeah. Feeling yourself more comfortable. Yeah, you are happy with yourself. You're satisfied. You feel satisfied. Self-fulfillment. Realizing your potential. That's very good. No boss. One thing about no boss. I find that when I started my journey as an entrepreneur, I was very happy because no longer bossing around. No, I got no boss to boss me around, right? Tell me to do this, tell me to do that. I came to realize that my boss are my clients. Are my clients and customers? They are my real boss. But the only difference is this: when I'm working for someone, I have only one boss. So if I really make him very upset, make her or him very upset, my only one boss, if I'm employed, I will be in trouble. But if I'm an entrepreneur, I have many bosses through my customers. So I think the risk mitigation is slightly better, because if I were to upset one of my boss, which is one of my customers, and I still make my other 99 customers or bosses happy, I'm okay. You think about this, right? Yeah. So that's the key part about having being an entrepreneur. So the answer actually lies in 3 parts, which is number 1, the reward of an entrepreneur. Number 1 is happiness. All right, can everybody now unmute yourself and say the word happiness? Say it with a smile. Happiness. Come on, everybody unmute yourself. Say happiness.
Happiness.
Okay, let's do this one more time, all right? At the count of 3, 2, 1, all right? Everybody now unmute yourself. Bora, can you please unmute yourself? Okay, Bora, everybody unmute yourself right now. Okay, yes. Unmute yourself. Are you ready? At the count of 3, 2, 1, you say the word happiness, all right? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Happiness.
Happiness.
Okay, I think I sense there's a delay here. Can you just do one more time, all right? Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. All together say happiness, all right? With a hand gesture. Happiness with a smile. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Happiness!
Happiness.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for participating in this. Because one of the things that I come to realize after doing a lot of webinars, numerous webinars for the last, I think, 2.5 months since the lockdown, is that whilst we have text like this, Zoom technologies like this, we can connect, we can do a live session. It still lack what I call the personal touch and engagement. So it's going to be like very boring for everyone just to listen, unmute, right? And I'm just talking. So I begin to realize that there is in a low touch economy, there is in a low touch environment, that there is a need for what I call high touch and using high tech technology. So we need to do both. You need to have high tech, we need to have high touch. All right. So the first thing, again, going back to the reward of an entrepreneur, right, is basically number one, happiness. Happiness. Because when I started off my journey as an entrepreneur, I came to realize that I was very passionate in the things that I do. Because I began to do basically things that I'm passionate about. When somebody is passionate, when you are passionate, you feel happy. You feel happy. So you got to ask yourself right now, place your hand in your heart. Everyone, place your hand in the heart. Am I passionate? Okay, this is something that you got to ask yourself. Am I passionate? Am I passionate in what I'm doing right now in SmartOpt? Am I passionate? Yeah. So it is this passion that gives me the strength to last until now 7 years. 7 years and 5 months. 7 years, 5 months. All right. Today it's already 1st of June. All right. So the thing is that it's very important that whilst a reward for entrepreneur is happiness, it is passion. No, we will be happy when we are passionate in the things that we do, because passion will only come when we believe the things that we do in entrepreneurship is going to change people's life, is going to impact people's life. So I run a digital academy and I train people, I upskill them in their digital literacy, in terms of their personal branding, how they can shape their personal brand in online using social media, using content marketing, and I help businesses to do e-commerce, how to do branding too for their brands, for their products that they have. And I find that every time when my clients or my customers, they have a success, I'm happy. So the first reward for an entrepreneur is happiness. The second reward for an entrepreneur is what I call freedom. Freedom. Freedom to do what? I think some of you put in just now freedom. So now, when you say freedom, what do you mean by freedom?
Well, freedom in terms of developing the business for our own benefit instead of, the companies. Of course, it's going to be the company's benefit as well, but developing the business for our own self is the freedom, and the things that we do by just designing, planning, and everything we do, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than what we do in professional life, but this is the freedom actually.
Okay, that's good. So for me, when I started my entrepreneurship, I think the first thing, I had freedom from a 9-to-5 job. Yeah, a 9-to-5 job. I think it's the freedom of having that flexibility to do the things that we want. I think most of you right now have really experienced working from home. How many of you have worked from home? Yeah. So that's kind of like a foretaste of what is working from home like, right? Instead of working in the office. And I've actually talked to some friends who has been like working in the office 9 to 5, or actually we in Malaysia, we work quite hard. We work 9 to 8 o'clock. So the things that they find, so I asked them, so what is your experience like having this flexibility from work from home? He says actually it's tougher because they find that the bosses actually find that they are not sure whether their employees are working or not. So the thing is that it's very tough, right? Especially when you work from home. So at the beginning, I experienced that freedom when I started off in my first year of entrepreneurship. I had freedom from 9 to 5 and I had flexibility of doing what I want, when I want it. And the joy was just short-lived after 3 months because I find that eventually I need to be very focused, right, in terms of drawing the line. So whilst I had the freedom, I think one of the learnings that I picked up was that there must be a great discipline. There must be great discipline, meaning that you need to really draw the boundaries between your office space versus your family home spaces, right? Yeah. So if you look behind me, this is actually my home office. Yeah, my home office. And this are real, Mac, this is real, this is not virtual. Okay, so the second benefit is having the flexibility, but having the flexibility and the freedom comes with great responsibility. So it means that we need to be disciplined, we need to be focused. When it's time to do work, we do work. And also we enjoy the benefit of having that flexibility in case there is any emergency. So that's the difference between an employee and an entrepreneur. So just want to encourage you all that I think all of you in this light of age right now, where we are facing COVID-19, lockdown, there are retrenchments, and I think you are in the right place. Yeah, you're in the right place. And I think the beautiful part is that you are in the right place to do something that's going to impact not your life only, but also the life of the society, right? Yeah. So so I'm going to talk about the third one, which is basically what I call the third reward, which is success, right? Success. So success is a very ambiguous definition. Success means differently to anyone, right? So if I were to ask everyone now in this room, can you just type in what you mean by success? What is success to you? What is success to you? What success means to you? How do you define success? Yeah, revenue. So on the personal point of view, I'm talking about personal success, sorry. I'm not talking about company success. I'm talking about personal success. So if we revenue, that will be getting more income for yourself, right? Yeah. So self-accomplishment, yeah. What else? Realizing the best that you have. That means realizing your best potential that you have. Yeah. Doing the best we can. Okay, two more. What is success to you? Showing your contribution to society. Absolutely. Yeah. So to me, success is basically being able to collaborate with people around the world. Yeah. And to me, it's very important that you define your success very well. Meaning that I count myself successful if people are able to transform their business into digital. That means they are able to move their business to the cloud. And they are able to pivot, they are able to make the changes. I find myself successful when I help a retrenched employee who lost his job to find a new job after I have coached and groomed that person from a personal branding point of view, right? So having success is very important because no longer the success that we define is defined by the company's KPI. But it's very important that we aligned our success KPI to the company's success KPI. All right, so we need to do that alignment. I think that's very important. So I find that many of my friends who are chief executive officers, they are business leaders, they tell me that it's very important that first, as a business leader, you need to define what is your success. What does success look like? Every employee needs to know what its success looks like. And number two, is that alignment in that success between the company's success and the individual success. Okay? All right, so right now I'm going to do this. I'm just going to open up for questions. The time now is, I believe, it's 1:13, right? Is it 1:13 in Istanbul? Yeah, so time for me to listen to your questions. So can everybody unmute yourself right now? And can you just like tell me your any questions that you want to ask me in regards to being an entrepreneur, regards to what is it like to be an entrepreneur, and any questions that relating to entrepreneurship.
Okay, I think I will start with the first question so that young people are encouraged to ask more. Actually, what is important is low touch. You mentioned that low touch environment because we don't have face-to-face communication. This becomes a very challenging situation, especially for business people. For technical people, there is the task that is defined for you. If you are developing a software product or if you are trying to solve a technical problem. But on the other side, business is highly personal because you have to have enough skills to read what is happening with the people on the opposite side. Maybe change course, create some empathy, and get a connection. Is there a procedure or is there a process to fasten this thing? Because it's a learning process, and many people here, many of our students are very young. And is there any practice that they can benefit? How do you read the other people? How do you get connection? How do you establish involvement in the discussion?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question, Professor. That's a very good question. I think the first thing, as an individual, I think first of all we need to enhance our interpersonal skills. So interpersonal skills is about relating to people through communication and all this. So I have never been in a room where there is so many engineers in the room. Okay. Yeah, and I don't mean to generalize engineers. Normally engineers would just like to do their work and not to talk to people. Yeah, if all of you agree, can you just nod your head? Right? So engineers typically don't like to talk to people, all right? Very uncomfortable in talking to people, but they are very good in doing their work. And I think that's the nature of the thing. But I guess in today's low-touch economy, where we need to collaborate, we need to work with people, whether you like it or not, I think it's very important that you need to have you need to actually build your what I call your emotional quotient, your EQ, your emotional quotient. So I think the best practice I've seen so far over the last 2 decades, I find that companies that sends their engineers to emotional quotient training, EQ training, it really helps their productivity, because it will basically will eliminate a lot of misunderstanding between the business people and the engineers. Because this is one of the frustration that engineers have, right? Because there's always a miscommunication between the salespeople and the engineers, for example, right? The client facing. So the first best practice I would encourage you all to do is to go and enroll yourself to what I call EQ training, emotional quotient training. Because it's has been proven that companies that sends their technical people, whether they're engineers or lawyers, okay, yeah, all the technical people into emotional quotient training, their productivity goes up, the collaboration goes up, and their revenue goes up. Right? So that's one. The other one is the what you call the communication between business to consumer. So I'm talking about business to consumer right now. All right. So business to consumers right now, what we're doing, one of the best practices that we are adopting around the world is what I call personalization marketing. Personalization marketing. For example, today, when we create an advertisement, the advertisement will come with the person's name. Say, for example, I want to advertise in social media to Esma. The ad is specially created for Esma. It says, "Hi Esma, long time you have not been buying our products. Just want to find out with you, is there any problems that you are facing, yeah, in using our products?" So what I call personalization is very key today, because today everybody wants to be addressed as an individual. So the two best practices, one on the within the organization, technical people and business people within the organizations, there must be a good communication, that is going through with both each other by making sure that your emotional quotient is being enhanced, right? So the other part is the business to consumers, which is you're using personalization marketing. And today there are many tools. There are marketing automation tools that help you to personalize. So just to get into much technicality, today we use first-party data to basically do remarketing. And when we use the first-party data to do remarketing, we are able to personalize and segmentize our customers according to their most important needs. And this is where we start to get that building that relationship, because in business it's all about relationship. Yeah, we need to build relationship, and relationship starts with communication, good communication with one another, whether it's amongst our colleagues or within our business and the consumer. So, Professor, I hope I answered your question.
Yes, this is perfect. I'm taking notes as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else got a question for me? Because I think we have about 9 more minutes. Not to put pressure on you, but I know you got a class to attend after this, right?
So in terms of, another question from me, in terms of high-tech meeting, would you consider Zoom as high-tech, or is there something else coming up? Because Zoom, although it is facilitating, it is not sufficient, from my perspective. Do you think new breed of technologies are coming? Because, I think we need something more than just Zoom meetings for high-tech environment.
Okay, I think for now, from a widely used web conferencing like this, Zoom is going to stay for a long time, and this will be the most efficient way of us doing, interaction. Yeah. Yesterday I was reading an article about they they want to make basically a congregation of meetings like this through what I call the sim, avatar sims, the
Yes.
sim world. And anyone you heard about sim world, right? So it's kind of like a sim world technology. Let me just sim world. Okay, so I believe that moving forward, especially amongst the millennials, eventually they wouldn't want to have this type of meetings, right? Because they don't like to sometimes see real people. They like avatars, right? So it's kind of like it will be on this type of setup, right? So everyone will have their own avatars and they will be able to communicate. Facebook is doing the avatar, for example. I think, yeah, Facebook is doing the avatar. That's the one that I was trying to refer to. Facebook. Yeah, so you see that this is going to be the next generation thing, which is basically avatars. So using basically the VR, the virtual reality goggle, and people will just like have their own customized avatar, and the kind of interactions they will see in the world. So it's a 360 world. So right now, this is what's going to happen. This is one dimensional. I'm looking at you, and all of you are looking at me. Right? Yeah. So, but moving forward, I think an avatar kind of environment, kind of like sim world type of environment, is going to take place. But maybe maybe in the next decade, for example, yeah, next 10 years.
Okay. Okay.
Anybody else? Don't be shy.
I can ask a question.
Yes, Bora.
What is your the most terrible mistake that you ever made your entrepreneurship career, and the lesson comes from?
I guess I will need another 7 hours to tell you that all the mistakes that I've done. A lot of terrible mistakes. A lot of terrible mistakes. I think one of maybe I can say one of the many mistakes that I've done is that I've been like working alone. Yeah, because when I first started as an entrepreneur, I refused to find a partner because I've heard a lot of stories about partnership being broken, right? Betrayal of partners. So I didn't want to find any partners. Number two, I didn't want to find any venture capitalists to fund my costs. So I make sure I have actually a 12-month savings, right? Without having any business. That's before I started my business. So that was the second mistake that I did. I didn't want to find a partner, a business partner. Number two, I didn't want to find a venture capitalist, right, to fund my venture. And the third one is that I found that I was kind of a lone ranger. So I didn't collaborate with people at the beginning of the year. I thought I could do everything myself. And whilst I'm able to do everything myself because I basically made myself self-sufficient. But I come to realize at one point of my business, I think on the third year of business, I realized I couldn't scale up. Even despite using marketing automation. I use a lot of marketing automation. I use a lot of online softwares to the SaaS software, service as a service software, subscription. I couldn't scale up. So that was the three major mistakes of the many mistakes that I've done. But one thing I learned is that whenever I make a mistake, I learn from it, I don't repeat it, and I do the right thing. I keep on moving on, right? Learning from my mistakes and then and even seek for advice from experienced people, like for example professor, right? Yeah, and ask them, say, I made this mistake, what should I do? So do ask to get. It's good to get mentors, right, to help you to learn from your mistakes and not only repeat them. I think from the mistakes that you've done, just like Thomas Edison, right, who created the light bulb. I forgot about the quote, but the point here is that learn from the mistakes and keep on pivoting. I think it's the key word now, pivoting. Keep on doing new things, try new stuff, right? Learn mistakes, pick up. So that's my 3 mistakes. They are not damaging in order, but the thing is that don't work alone. So it's great that all of you are working as a team, right? So that's why I said today I'm so happy because now I got a chance to collaborate with you. Yeah, why? It's because we have now established the relationship between Malaysia, myself, and all of you. Okay, we have 2 more minutes.
Can I ask a question?
All right, Emre.
You said I didn't find venture capital at first place. What's your suggestions about venture capital? What should be? What's the important thing while finding venture capital?
Sorry, can you repeat your question again?
What's the important thing while finding venture capital?
Okay, I think the first thing before you start to look for venture capitalist, right? Before you look for a VC, I think you could ask yourself, do you want to have a VC, right? Because many times, for you to start a business, you need 3 things, right? 3 things to start an enterprise. The first thing is that you must have machineries, you must have equipments. The second one is that you must have finances, funds, right? And the third one, you must have the skill. So this is what I call the bundle resources, the 3 things. So when you talk about funding itself, the question that you need to ask before you start to look fundings from external is that do you want them to control you? Because when venture capitalists gives you the money, it's not free money, yeah? Unless they are angel investors. They will put a lot of control, management, KPI on you. And sometimes what you have a business idea and you want to do that business idea and execute the business idea, but sometimes the venture capitalists will actually stop you from doing the origin idea that you have. Because their agenda, their motive, their reason may be very different from the founder of the enterprise. Yeah. So the first thing is that you need to make sure that you need to be comfortable whether you gotta ask yourself whether do you need the money from external sources or not. Yeah. So in order to do that, you need to have a business plan. So a business plan, we'll talk about your financial plan. What is your financial plan? So what is your burn rate like? How much money do you need each month? What is the cash flow like, for example? So, and that's why, for example, if you look at Jack Ma, do you know Jack Ma from Alibaba?
Yes.
Everybody knows, right? Yeah. So Jack Ma started, I think, easily about 10 to 15 years ago, right? And he did not actually got any money from venture capitalists. But he had a team like this, all of you, okay? And he was very clear. And I basically, the things that I'm actually not a strong believer of getting venture capitalist money because number one, I don't want them to affect my dream, what I want to do. That's very important because if I don't get to do what I want to do, then I will lose the passion in driving the business forward. All right. So anyway, just to answer your question, what is important when you are looking for a venture capitalist? I think number one, you must have a business plan. Number two, you must do market research, right, to see whether the business is viable. Number three, in the low-touch economy, you need to know whether there is a need for this sector. And I'm just going to share very quickly right now one of the slides that talks about the potential of business sectors in what I call in this low-touch economy. Okay, actually I've already prepared quite a number of slides for you, but don't worry because you can get all these slides in my LinkedIn profile here. Okay, so all you need to do to get to this LinkedIn post is about 67 slides. You just go to this URL called tiny.cc. If you can just take a pen and just write this down, tiny.cc/LTE capital DAVIDHO, David Ho. If you click on this slide here, yeah, and then copy the URL, which is this one here, at the top here, you will be able to go to my LinkedIn page. First, please get connected first, right? Send me a connection, and then you're able to go to this low-touch economy, business remodeling in low-touch economy, yeah, and you'll be able to download this entire slide. So coming back to this, what I want to show you was this slide here, 30 plus, yeah, this slide here. So when you look at venture capitalists in today's low-touch economy, sorry about this, okay, you can see that, sorry, you can see that basically, you know, these are the 6 triggers that actually will give you the opportunity to experience what's the opportunity in terms of in the low-touch economy, right? So these are the services you can see over here and over here that is actually very prime to have success in this low-touch economy. So anyway, we don't have much time here right now. So what I can suggest you to do is that you download this, you know, this entire deck. Go to here, download this deck, and then if you have any questions on any of the slides here, you can reach out to me at here. Okay, so you can reach out to me. I'll give you my WhatsApp number, so you can reach out to me and say, David, slide number 65, can you explain to me what it means? And I'll be happy to explain that to you. Okay, so so with that, yeah, I think I'm done here right now, and I've exceeded 5 minutes of your time. So I pass this time back to Esma or Sona.
Well, thank you, David. It was really nice listening to you. So it's great to know it's great to listen from real entrepreneurs around the world. And that's why we are just aiming to host, more entrepreneurs, more professionals at SmartOpt Academy so that we can at least pick a word from their experience, which is really valuable for us. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Most welcome.
Thank you very much, David. I look forward to meeting you in person sometime
Yes,
soon.
yes. So get connected in LinkedIn, everyone, you know, and download that thing, and let's get connected, right? Let's keep in touch even after this. So even if you think that, I think, what's the language of Turkey?
Turkish.
Turkish, yeah. Whew, sorry. Yeah. So I've been like nowadays I've been corresponding with an Iranian who doesn't speak English, and so what I did was that because I want to communicate with her, I use Google Translate in written form, and guess what? It's been doing well. Right? She really
Yeah.
appreciates the fact that I take the effort to communicate with her in her own language. So just keep in touch, right? So if you so I look forward to hear from my friends from Istanbul. So I have a good day, everyone, and
Thank you.
hope to see you all soon again. All the best.